Hello, everyone. On September 4th, the two luck planets, Venus and Jupiter, are going to be stationary. And then the next day, Jupiter is going to turn retrograde while Venus is turning direct. Traditionally, these two planets are considered to be fortune planet, for Fortuna Major and Fortuna Minor in Latin, so major and minor fortune. But of course, in manifestation, they are quite different because Venus is love and happiness and abundance and harmony, and of course, beauty. So everything that makes our life much more worthwhile. While Jupiter simply enlarges everything it touches. Thus, it enlarges the bad things as well. And funnily, it is called Fortuna Major, the major fortune, whereas I think that on a personal level, you can utilize a good Venus, a nice Venus, much better. Now, traditionally, whenever a planet is stationary, it usually means that it is strengthened in its own meaning. This is, of course, because this is a not a true manifestation of what is happening in the sky for real. It simply means that from the Earth we are unable to recognize ellipses, and it looks as if a planet were to slow down and then stop almost and then turn backwards. And even stopping is not really true. It's not going to stop like a full stop. It simply means it's the same thing happens when you are driving on a road and then all of a sudden you realize that you are going on the wrong direction. You should go the opposite direction. What do? You slow down, you look into the rear mirror, you check if anyone is out there, and if you don't see any other cars, then you slow down completely and turn around and go to the opposite direction. And while you are slowing down and turning, you're not making any distances, so your distance covering is 0 meters, but at the same time the car is still moving. That's exactly what the stationary planets are doing. And as you will see, I put together a table, and I also actually, let's take a look at that before we actually look at the chart itself, which is, again, I did not do the chart for London, or I only have it for Budapest for midday, but it doesn't really matter because we're not going to look at angles and anything. So here's from Solar Fire. As you can see, Venus is stationary direct, and Jupiter is direct stationary, which means the next day it's going to, on the 5th, it's going to be stationary retrograde, and then it turns retrograde. And then Venus turns direct pretty soon. And as you can see, there's a table with average travel, so how fast or slow are the planets. And there you can check that the average for Venus is slightly less than 1 degree. And for Jupiter, it's about 5 minutes of an arc. So if you go back to the solar fire table, you can see that Venus is at 51 minute and Jupiter is at 2 minutes. So it's really, really slow at the moment. Okay, here's the chart. As I said, this is for Budapest, but it doesn't really matter. So here you have the two stationary planets in the chart, the program that I'm using for my drawings, because it's a very easy program. You can shut down. So you don't, in Solar Fire, you need to change the file, the whole file, if you want to show this or that planet only. And in this one, it's called Astrokarma. It's a Hungarian program. You can just shut down the planet itself. If you are interested, I may show you in one video if you want me to. Anyhow, so it's much easier for me to create these drawings in Astrokarma. Anyhow, so, but Astrokarma doesn't know how to put, so it doesn't show retrograde or direct or anything. It doesn't even show stationary, simply shows the planets that are retrograde in magenta. So any of these are retrograde. So I put the S's next to Venus and Jupiter. That's the space-time moment on September the 4th. As you can see, West Austria is still there. It's going to be there until November. Ceres South Node is still there. It's getting really, really exact, and it is about try to really uncover what you already know, what your ancestors, what your mother, your grandmother, what your family, your homeland knew, and try to access it and utilize it. And at the same time, the North Node Aries conjunction, which is this year's major karmic astrological conjunction, is about the fact that we need to learn to fight for what is ours and what is important to us. Aries, North Node, and Aries in the conjunction to Aries means that drastically altered outward circumstances. Yes, the world that we used to love, the world that we used to live in, is slowly taken away from us. As Jordan Peterson so many times says, and he's so right, that with the modern age, a lot of people, huge crowds, masses, were lifted out of abject poverty. And now the powers that be are trying to push us back into this abject poverty. And the reason, so this space-time moment, actually, when the two luck planets are stationary, gives you the opportunity and actually the occasion to think about how lucky we have been, how lucky this generation has been, how fantastic abundance we created, how many people we managed to lift out of poverty and sheer hopelessness, and do something, not just sit in your armchair and post on Facebook stupid things. That's not what is required from you at the moment. You need to focus on karma breaking. You need to understand that drastically altered outward circumstances will change your destiny, and you can actually access old knowledge through your grandmother, your mother, the old people that you're looking. My dear fellow young person, you are usually looking down on old people because they are stupid and they killed the planet, they did this, did that. No, the old generation created your wealth. Okay, so be grateful. Okay, that's a very important thing, to learn to be grateful for what you have, and to also focus on what you can do on your own level. We are going to look at how you can do that in a minute. But also, stationary Venus is almost conjunct Juno, but as I said, these two planets are kind of touching each other. The wife, the first lady archetype, Juno, and the lover archetype, Venus. And then they are separating because Venus is going to turn direct. And it's even though now it is very slow, but soon it will pick up pace and will leave Juno behind. And then the two Liliths, actually there are three Liliths. This is the asteroid Lilith, revolt against injustice. This one is the dark moon Lilith, accepting the curse. And this one is the so-called black moon Lilith, which is the returning goddess who needs who has knowledge, clairvoyance, and some sort of determination in order to do what's necessary. Here, asteroid Lilith and dark moon Lilith are conjunct. So actually it means you can revolt, and you should not care. You should not care who is going to curse you for that. Yes, we looked at this. And here's a complex planetary picture, which the reason I'm going to show you this is because this here, there are two interesting minor aspects that look almost the same, but they are not. Okay, let's take a look. There's a double or triple little engine because whenever you have a configuration with multiple conjunctions, it's important to see whether at least one of them is closing within 2 degrees, the conjunction. With the luminaries, you can allow 2.5 degrees, especially when they are applying. Jupiter is a little bit out of the picture because it's at 15 degrees, but the reason why I included it because this video is on Venus and Jupiter, stationary Venus and Jupiter. So this is a little engine with the fixed square between Juno, Venus, and Moon, Jupiter. The redeeming factor is the sextile, which is also the base for an angel wing, and at the apex of which there is the sun. And there's also a tense triangle, the apex of which is the Vesta Astrea, focus on karma breaking. Now here are the two aspects which I wanted to elaborate a little bit longer. One is a so-called biseptile. A septile is 1/7 of the circle. If you divide a circle by 7, you get 51 degrees and 27 minutes, which is not an even number, so it's like, but not a, so it's a really odd number. And the double of it, biseptile, is 102 degrees and 54 minutes of an arc, so you can actually use 103 degrees. And the septile series are about mysticism. The biseptile is a graspable mysticism, something that you can understand, something that you can recognize. And this time it is between Vesta and Lilith, asteroid Lilith. And it really means that focus on what you can revolt against, but not sitting in your armchair and posting on Facebook, or do something for yourself. Go out and try to lead a meaningful life. Try to, against all odds, try to eat well. I mean, think about this. This is really important. 100 years ago, there were not too many people with allergies. Yes, admittedly, when town folks went to the country, they got hay fever. Okay, and then when those peasants went into the big cities, of course, the smog made them also sick. So what are you allergic to? Substances that are alien to you. Think about this. Substances that are alien to you may make you allergic, may make you sick. So how come we never heard about gluten and this and that and all kinds of food disorders that are by their thousands now around? I mean, I can't go into a restaurant without looking at the menu and list all the, I mean, they are listing all the allergens. I mean, it's ridiculous. You are not allergic to milk or bread. You are allergic to the substances that are alien to you, that are pegged in these common foods. Think about that and try to make your own food. It's not too hard. Buy the flour at a good health shop, and make your own bread, make your own food. Don't buy things in the supermarket because they are going to poison you. So that's one thing. And if you utilize the biseptile, which is mysticism, which is insight into mystical things, then you can do it. The other one, the 108 degrees, is the tridecile. It's 3 times the decile, or 1.5 times the quintile. It's one of the quintile, member of the quintile series. And the quintile series are about ingeniousness and talent. And the 108 degrees, the tridecile, is about ingeniousness that manifests in altered states of consciousness. Yes, a glass of wine can produce an altered state of consciousness, even a joint. Although I'm not into substances. Again, why not? Because we here in Europe are wine drinking nations. So wine is not going to make you sick. If you are in the northern regions, vodka is not going to make you sick. If you live in the United States, bourbon is not going to make you sick. If you live in India, then all kinds of opiates are not going to make you sick. But if you use a different substance, an alien substance, yes, you may be hooked on it, and it can destroy you. So try to research what substance is in your genes, so to speak, and you can utilize that. Or you can meditate, or you can actually use all kinds of meditation techniques in order to get into this altered higher state of consciousness. And this is the dark moon Lilith and Astrea. Astrea is karma breaking. And dark moon Lilith means that I don't care if you curse me, I will do whatever I damn well please. So that's what we need to do. So in this space-time moment, when the two luck planets, the two fortune planets are stationary, we can ponder about how lucky we are. We can actually utilize how lucky we are, and we can put energy and effort into creating something that the powers that we don't want us to have, but we do. And think about what is alien substance in your blood or in your system, and eliminate those. That's the space-time moment. So that's how you can utilize it. And here are the transcendental objects really very quickly. Clio and Euterpe are two muses. Actually, Euterpe is the muse of lyrical poetry, but also tragedy. Melpomene is another one, so both are prominent in this space-time moment. And Clio is history, learn from history. Zosma is Delta Leo. It is the back of the celestial lion, where Hercules manages to break and kill the animal, or one of the totem animals of the goddess. And because the Nemean lion has a fur that cannot be sliced by weapons, so any of the any sword or any sharp weapon cannot even touch it. And all those sharp weapons, swords, are, of course, phallic symbols. So it simply means that this is an animal belonging to the goddess, and a hero cannot touch it. But of course, Heracles is the true hero. So what does he do? He tries to wrestle with it for 30 days, a moon phase. And then he manages to get behind it and breaks its spine. And Zosma is the fixed star at the back of. So it's where broken rulers and kings are being healed. That's Zosma. And then on Jupiter, on Moon, you have Nike and Nephthys. Nike is the goddess of euphoria of victory. And Nephthys is a strange asteroid, a strange mythology belongs to it. The Theban quadruplets, Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, and Thet, belong. Actually, they show the positive and negative counterparts of the world. And of course, Seth's wife is Nephthys. And it usually, if it's prominent, it usually suggests that you may have very committed relationships with mafiosos or with bad people, bad men. On Jupiter, you have Melpomene, the muse of tragedy, and Menkar, which is Alpha Set, the Alpha star of Set, the celestial veil. We are going to look at it in a minute. And on Venus, you have Lancelot, Hathor, and Merlin, a mother goddess, a knight in shining armor, and a magician. Quite nice, I think, for Venus the stationary Venus to have those three archetypes. And on Juno, you have Hestia and Hammurabi. Hammurabi means laws, important and wise and just operation. And Hestia is the same as Vesta, except this is the Greek counterpart, and it's usually linked to rituals, the focus rituals. And the Lilith, dark moon Lilith conjunction has abundancia and logos. Logos is a centaur, not a centaur, it's a TNO, but in comic astrology, we use the word centaur for anything that is trans-Neptunian. And logos means creation through words, and abundancia is abundance. So the goddess of abundance. So that's what you need to focus on. Here is the Sun Zosma conjunction. As you can see, the Sun is now nearing to the autumnal equinox point. It's going to be then 0 degrees in declination. And Zosma is much higher. It's at 20. So it's about 20 degrees from the celestial equator. So there will never be a Sun Zosma true conjunction. Here you can see this is Regulus. This is the constellation Leo. So this is the head of the lion. This is its back. This is its tail. And here's the heart of the lion, Regulus. The sun is always conjunct Regulus in true sense, because that is where it is. That's it, the sun's pathway. But nothing can actually, I mean, the sun cannot actually be conjunct Zosma. Other celestial objects can, because if they are at 20 degrees to the south, to the north, they will be, they could be conjunct Zosma, of course. And this is the celestial Vea. Menkar is the alpha star of Set, of the Cetus. And here's Jupiter. And as you can see, Menkar is about 5 degrees to the north from the celestial equator. And Jupiter is about 15 degrees away. So again, this is not a true conjunction. It's simply an alignment. Some things could be conjunct Menkar, but if you take a look, these are the stars of Aries, and here are the stars of Taurus. So this is a liminal space defined by Bernadette Brady. And what she said was that whenever zodiacal constellations don't overlap, anything below the zodiac will kind of occupy the energies between them. And that's the celestial veil. And it's Menkar is the emergence of the subconscious and also insight. So this is it. Pay attention to the space-time moment. Count your blessings, count your luck, be grateful for it, and change your life in order to manifest much better things. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.